Right then lads, today we are going to be speaking about something that has been spoken about a lot with Newcastle United fans after our start of the season. It's international duty now, there's no club football this weekend, but Newcastle United are still getting spoken about a lot. Today we're going to be speaking about the midfield situation in our team. Top to bottom, every player, every reason, and what my personal reasons is of why it's not working and what can we do and change the midfield. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm also using stuff that I've seen on Twitter and what people have said, so it's not just my thoughts and comments going into every single player's analysis, but we'll go through every player, give the reasons why it's not working at the minute, and yeah, let's get into it now. So then, obviously, we've played 4 games so far this season and only picked up 3 points, and the midfield stayed the same for every game. The midfield that we've been playing in our 4 Premier League games so far is Bruno, Tonali and Joelinton. On paper, looks unbelievable. It does. Joelinton, a magnificent season last season. Back-to-back player of the year. He was unbelievable. I thought he was my player of the season. Didn't have a bad game last season. With Bruno, we know how unbelievable he is on the ball, how much passion he brings you, how much he gets stuck in and whatnot throughout last season. And obviously Tonali has done wonders at AC Milan and done very well at Newcastle United so far. Obviously picked up that goal against Aston Villa. But why isn't it working? Let's start off by I want to speak about Bruno first, right? So Bruno, he's been a spoken point a lot at the minute, and as we all know, NUFC 360 made a tweet and Bruno reacted to it saying it's been 3 games this season, or 2 or 3 games this season. I think it was just before the Liverpool game, and he's basically said you can't have a go at the lads. We're versus the best team in the world and we try the best week in, week out. I'm not saying Bruno's not trying his best, but at the minute it's just not working. And just because it's Bruno, just because he's loved by all the fans and whatnot, for me, Eddie Howe's got to treat Bruno Guimarães like any other player, and it's simple as that. Yes, he's brilliant. Yes, he's unbelievable. Yes, he can create you something, right? But Maximin could have done that, but he didn't start every game last season. He was on the bench for most of last season, whilst we had Jacob Murphy and Almiron as our attacking players, and there wasn't really much said about it. But if we drop Bruno, fans will kick off, but if we start him, fans are kicking off. With Bruno, for me, right, the system that we're using at the minute, it just doesn't work with the 3 midfielders that are there. I think Joelinton and Bruno are fine, but you need someone there who's going to give you the dirty work, the gritty work, and I'll get onto them players in a second. But having 2 very similar players in Tonali and Bruno, who are very aggressive in how they work and like they get stuck in at times, but they like doing the neat stuff. They like getting the ball to the feet and playing the pass and move football, what they've learned in Brazil and Italy and whatnot. But with the English lads we've got there, they don't. They just get stuck in, play the simple stuff right, and I think that's what we're missing at the minute. With Bruno, we seen last season how good he was, right? And there was a couple of times we had iffy games and whatnot, but we've not seen Bruno this bad. And I'm not sitting there slating Bruno and whatnot. Players' form changes, do you know what I mean? Look at Jadon Sancho. Yes, he's had a bad time at Man United, but you can't do so good for Borussia Dortmund and then go so bad at Man United. You've got to find the right rhythm for the team and the right just getting there. At the minute, it's not working. What I don't like, one thing with Eddie Howe is I wouldn't say he's got his favourites, but players have worked into their team. Look at Bruno. He started his first game in March. He signed in January when we first signed him, that game against Southampton. Obviously, he didn't start for ages. Had to grow him into the team, and that's what he's doing with some of the new signings, which I am going to do a separate video about the fullbacks, which obviously we will get onto in a separate video. But it's a little bit like that. Obviously in the midfield we only signed Tonali, but I'm not going to mention anything about if Bruno should get dropped or not. I'm not going to say anything like that. I'm just giving me reasons on why I think some stuff isn't working, and I think it's because Tonali and Bruno are 2 very similar players that they are number 8s playing as number 6s, and it doesn't work. And for me, it's as simple as that. We briefly spoke about Tonali there. We'll probably speak about him now, as I should say. Tonali, I think he's had a really good season so far, but the people have still not spoken about it, and I am. The first goal for Brighton, that is shocking, and it doesn't matter if you're unsettled or you need to grow into the team. That he's a professional footballer, played in the Champions League semi-final. You've got to get rid of that ball. Sir Alex Ferguson, obviously he's not the biggest fan of Newcastle, we're not biggest fans of him. He's basically said that if that's in his team, he gets dropped no matter how good he performs, because you can't have that in your team, which I wouldn't say drop him, definitely not, but I feel like he has been the best midfielder so far this season. Yes, Joelinton is probably not being fit, but one thing I forgot to mention about Bruno and Joelinton, I'll speak about when I get to Joelinton after, we'll mention it, but with Tonali, obviously he's still settling in, you know what I mean, and we've got to give him that benefit of the doubt. Yes, it's a very silly goal to concede for his reason, but it's just, I think you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, because if that's Bruno in his first season, he gets away with it, so Tonali shouldn't, and he probably has, because now it's really been mentioned about it. Let's speak about Joelinton. And obviously finally Joelinton, for me, shouldn't have started the game against Brighton because he wasn't fit, so you're not going to get the best Joelinton out there because he's not fit to play. That is one thing. The thing I really liked last season, and it worked so well, and when we stopped doing it, it really went tits up. When Joelinton was on the left wing and Joe Willock was in the midfield, they could switch, they could move, it was like ice skating, man. It glided together, and I don't think we'll see that again. I think because we've got Barnes and Golden on that left hand side now, I can't see Joelinton getting put up there. He should, in my opinion. I think he's better out on the left and still get in the middle and still get stuck in. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're just missing that. Yes, we are missing Joe Willock massively, and we'll get onto that, but one thing I forgot to mention before, as I mentioned, for me, and it does look like this, to me I feel like Bruno and Joelinton were a bit off the pace because they're trying to keep themselves fit for Brazil, and I could be completely wrong, but the way that compared to last season to this season, it was a bit, I can understand Joelinton not being fully fit, but the way Bruno sometimes was going on, it was like he was prioritising Brazil a little bit. Obviously he got called up, it's in his head, doesn't want to get injured. Yeah, for me, I think they should go the announcement after the games to benefit the clubs because of this reason. Obviously Bruno doesn't want to get injured, he wants to go to Brazil because he's probably got family living over there and whatnot. He wants to see all them. If he gets injured in that game versus Brighton, he's got to sit at home, not play any football. I think he laid off the hinges a little bit, Bruno, and a little bit with Joelinton, but that is the three in midfield that have started the Premier League this season, and this is what I think. And well, I'm going to mention the players, and at the end I'll mention what the midfield should be for Brentford. So then, I'll start about Joe Willock. Obviously he's injured at the minute, and after that Brighton game we got announced that he will be out for another further 6 weeks, which is shite. I can see him come back a little bit earlier. I could be completely wrong, I'm just completely guessing that. I am, right. Joe Willock brings you so much, he really does. And you think about when Newcastle were good last season, right, who started every game? And it was Joe Willock. You think of the games that we absolutely battered and bruised and won, who started? Joe Willock. And literally any game that comes to my head, Chelsea at home, Man United at home, that run with Almond was scoring, he played every game. Even little things like towards the end of the season when he got injured, I think it was against Brighton, and didn't play against Leicester or Chelsea, we didn't win them games. I think Joe Willock gives you something that no other player can bring to Newcastle United. The energy in midfield, the drive that he gives you, the whole package, and it's not just like he goes attacking and whatnot, people think he's attacking midfielder. He gives you some way he can go down the middle, and we don't have that whatsoever. Joelinton so much on the wide, and then Bruno and Tonali let play in the middle. When you've got Joelinton, that's why it works so well when you have Joelinton and Joelinton and Willock, where they could switch and they could move, and you could go to Willock going into a cam and then Joelinton on the left hand side, and then it could switch. Joe Willock's going up the line, you've got Joelinton back into the middle. I love that. That's one thing I favour for massively. You're keeping the fullback and the defenders uncomfortable with the opponents. When they get comfortable for the opponent, when they know they can target and they know they can take it, they've got an easy day because they know what to do. The professionals out there, do you know what I mean? When they're switching between a Joe Willock and a Joelinton, a hard bully to a fast nippy Englishman, it's so different, and people don't see that. That's why I think Joe Willock's so key to that team. He gives you that. That's how the Southampton goal when we went 3-0 up on Aggregate in the AFL Cup semi-final. Up that left-hand side, the amount of times he gets driven into the box, and he's a workhorse in that team, and we miss it massively. We really, really do. We need to see him in the top ASAP, and I'm hoping to God he can recover quickly. Now another player who I think is knocking on the door for a start, and one player who for some reason still gets stick, it's Sean Longstaff. He had an unbelievable season last season, and fans will not say it. They won't, because you look at the Isaacs and the Brunos and the Joelintons and the Botmans. The most unsung player with that football club, him and Willock, without a shadow of a doubt. When it's like Jacob Murphy. When he plays, we win. Jacob Murphy plays, we win. I swear Jacob Murphy played one game last season starting and we got beat. I swear it was Arsenal at home. Every other game we won. Same with Longstaff. When he plays, we win. There was one time we were all buzzing. It was the Aston Villa away. It was Willock, Bruno, Joelinton in that midfield, right? And we got beat 3-0 and everyone's going, we missed the glue. This season, we've missed it. And he's been pushed out that team for the sake of Tonali signing. When things aren't working, you've got to put him in, and that's it for me. You have got to put him in. For me, over Bruno. I think for Brentford, Tonali in the 6, Longstaff and Joelinton. But I'm not the manager. I'm not the one who knows it. Yes, and one thing about that midfield as well, you've got a very energetic bench is in Bruno, and a player we need to still speak about, Elliot Anderson. And because obviously he's been bringing off Tonali as well, so I can't say given an issue by dropping Bruno, because he can just bring him on for Tonali, because that's what he seems to favour at the minute anyhow. I think people forget we've got a Champions League game in 2 weeks and we don't know our best team. That is scary. Because if we were winning games and playing comfortable football, I would have to make a video like this, but I felt like I had to. Anyways, Elliot Anderson now on a quick one. Elliot Anderson obviously just needs that goal. That's it for me. I think he gives you everything. He comes on. What I love about Elliot Anderson, he screams for the ball. He's like that. He's like, yes, pass me the fucking ball. And when he gets the ball, it's very rare when he makes a mistake. I think the only time when he did was when he came on against City, but it's City. Do you know what I mean? I can't sit here and hold grudges. It's Manchester City. Of course, you're not gonna keep the ball every time, but most times he's very cool, calm, collective on the ball. He likes to do stuff right. He likes to run with it. He gives you that bit of energy. Obviously Geordie lad as well, which is always nice. I don't see why Elliot Anderson can't have a good season. I think it's the right decision not sending him out on loan, considering how low we are in the midfield with Willock getting injured. I think he just needs that goal to get him forward, and we'll be absolutely fine. Had a really good pre-season, scoring loads of goals. Let's see if we can do it in the Prem. As I mentioned before, obviously I still will be doing the predict the team for the game versus Brentford, but for me, that midfield, I think Bruno should be getting dropped. I think Joelinton, if he doesn't get injured in Brazil for their games, I think it's got to be Tonali in the 6, Longstaff and Joelinton. Let me know your thoughts, lads, on that. If you agree, disagree, let me know. This is why I do these type of videos, so people can agree with or disagree, or suggest their comments to me, and I do read through all the comments, so if you want to leave a comment, it would mean a lot. Anyways, see you in the next one, boys. There'll be a video out when I come in. Obviously I'm trying to get videos out with the international duty. Obviously I haven't got enough content to upload every single day. There will be a video, a very similar one like this, but with a fullback situation. Make sure to leave a like, boys, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all in the next one.